corneal ulcer. If the corneal ulcer is in central part of the cornea, it means the infection is exogenous, either bacteria or virus or fungus. And if the corneal ulcer is at peripheral part of the cornea, it means it is due to toxic influence or allergic influence. That is due to endogenous cause. Now, pyogenic corneal ulcer, or it is also known as suppurative keratitis. It means loss of corneal tissue as a result of infection and formation of raw excavated area. Any microorganism cannot directly invade the normal corneal epithelium except Corynebacterium diphtheria and Neisseria gonorrhoeae. So there must be preconditions for formation of corneal ulcer. The preconditions are like trauma of the corneal epithelium caused by minute foreign body or concretions of the conjunctiva or misdirected eyelashes. Second is unhealthy corneal epithelium. Unhealthy corneal epithelium. It may be due to absolute glaucoma, in which there is a persistent edema of the corneal epithelium occurs, or in neuroparalytic conditions, like when there is the treatment of trigeminal neuralgia is done by injection of absolute alcohol in Gaserian ganglion. And next is keratomalacia. So these are the preconditions. After preconditions, the infection occurs either by exogenous source, by carrying minute foreign body, or local chronic diffuse cystitis. And if the infection settles, there is necrosis and sloughing of the corneal tissue and corneal ulcer forms. Termination of corneal ulcer. If the tissue resistance is much more high or sufficiently strong, then corneal ulcer localized and heals. If the corneal ulcer spreads or reaches to the deeper corneal tissue up to the Descemet's membrane, the Descemet's membrane bulges forwards and causing descemetocele, and it gets perforated and cause perforating corneal ulcer. Next, if the tissue resistance is much less and invading microorganism much more virulent, then the corneal ulcer spreads rapidly and whole thickness of the cornea sloughed out, and thus forming sloughing corneal ulcer. Now, pathology of pyogenic corneal ulcer. It can be divided in three stages: progressive stage, regressive stage, and a stage of cicatrization. In progressive stage, the corneal ulcer is surrounded by infiltrated corneal tissue by polymorph, and the necrosed corneal tissue, that is epithelium, Bowman's membrane, and some part of the stoma sloughed out, and the ulcer, the wall of the ulcer crater is swollen due to imbibition of fluid by corneal tissue. Now, a stage of regression, a line of demarcation is formed around the corneal ulcer, and the necrosed tissue up to the line of demarcation is sloughed out, and the polymorph is replaced by large mononuclear cells. Now, a stage of cicatrization. In this stage, the corneal ulcer heals by fibrous tissue, which is derived from division of the fixed corneal cells to form spindle-shaped cells, and invading large mononuclear cells and endothelial cells of newly formed blood vessels. Now, epithelium grows from the edge of the ulcer crater and covers the cornea. Bowman's membrane is not regenerated. The newly laid fibrous tissue in cornea causes opacity in cornea. So, according to density of the opacity, it is 3 types: nebula, macula, and lipoma. The lipoma is more dense. Along with these conditions, there is some changes occurs in eye, like ciliary congestion and mild iritis due to absorption of toxin from ulcer. Hypopion formation due to exudation in anterior chamber from the blood vessels of iris and ciliary body. Vascularization of the cornea. It occurs when the ulcer is situated close to the limbus for a long period. Due to transmission of toxin from anterior segment to the vitreous, there is fine opacity and cellular deposits in vitreous. So these are the pathology of pyogenic corneal ulcer. Now, pathology of perforating corneal ulcer. The ulcerative process reaches to the deeper layer of the corneal tissue. When it reaches up to the Descemet's membrane, due to intraocular pressure, the Descemet's membrane bulges forwards as a glistening sphere, which is known as descemetocele. And the wall of the descemetocele is involved in ulceration, or the wall of the descemetocele is eroded, and the endothelium gets perforated and whole corneal thickness becomes perforated. As the perforation takes place, some changes occurs in eye, that is due to drainage of the aqueous, there is ebullition of anterior chamber, and the iris comes forwards and prolapse through ulcer. The iris gets adhered to the corneal ulcer, so the ulcer heals quickly due to highly vascularized uveal tissue. When the ulcer heals, lipoma is formed, but the tag of iris is adhered to it, so it is known as adherent lipoma. So the complication of perforating corneal ulcer is adherent lipoma. Now, pathology of sloughing corneal ulcer. If the invading microorganism is much more virulent and tissue resistance is much less, the whole or a portion of the cornea up to the entire thickness is sloughed out, and there is a formation of big gap in cornea, as a result of which a major portion or good amount of iris is exposed, and the iris becomes inflamed and exudate covers the iris. Ultimately, the exudate organized and forms a thin layer of fibrous tissue, which is known as pseudocornea. This pseudocornea, that is thin layer of fibrous tissue, cannot withstand the intraocular pressure, so it bulges forwards along with uveal tissue, and it is known as anterior staphyloma. So the complications of sloughing corneal ulcer is anterior staphyloma. Now, the microorganism which involves the formation of hypopyon are mainly pneumococcus, Pseudomonas pycniana, Morex axenfeld diplobacillus, fungus, and pox virus.